Congratulations on season 2.
Thank
So
you.
exciting. Where do I even start? I guess with Simone and Charitha, I'll ask you guys, what does it feel like to be a part of the Bridgerton universe and everything that comes with that? Which is all positive, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like I always say, it's super exciting. I'm really grateful. I think we collectively should think of a word together to describe it.
One word.
Mad. Right? Yeah. It's been amazing. Absolutely.
I'll ask you two this way, like you get the call that you're going to be a part of this, and what's your first reaction? Do you call someone? Do you scream? Do you cry? Do you question it?
I was on set for a movie I was doing at the time, and I was being called to go to set, and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. So I had to put my phone on flight mode, leave it in my trailer, and go to set and act as if nothing happened. And at the same time, people in the cast were like, "Oh my God, I watched Bridgerton. Like, what's happening in season 2?" And I had to sit there and just be like, so that was my experience of the post-call experience. What about you?
Firstly, I have to say I'm such a fan.
Thank
The season of The Bachelorette, you had so much grace and poise. So
thank you so much.
Anyway, so for me, the process of getting cast was such a long one that like when I finally got the call, it was very like humbling because I was in my mum's allotment creating a polytunnel for her, like gardening covered in mud, and then I kind of get the call. So it was just more of like a release, like, thank God it worked out finally. Like before they can change their mind, let's get rolling.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, very different experiences, I think, but ended up in the same place.
Oh my! Are you hurt? Come now, it is not proper to stare.
With Jonathan, I gotta say, and this is not a knock to the character you play, this shows how great you are at it. You're so much more pleasant here, than you come across, which is totally, I would say this in the best way. But what can we expect from your character this season, other than the fact that, he's ready to go, he's looking for a wife? What kind of twists and turns will that take your character down the road?
He's a complicated fellow, isn't he? And we get to go back in the flashbacks and see what happened to him as a younger man when he lost his father. And so there's something, and what is brilliant about Bridgerton, I think, as well, is that they tap into, within this sort of expansive, sort of frothy, luxurious world, there's real human experiences that are drawn on. And one of those is loss and pain and grief. And that's something that is so experienced, I think, with Anthony this year and his mother, and obviously with Kate and her past. So then that's what I think connects them. So yeah, you have to go to rake school, but also the one thing that I really wanted to get right, as well as the amazing love story, is just that sense of loss with Anthony. So that's something that's going to underpin the whole love story, I think, for both of them.
Can you really not see anything engaging about it?
Yes, I suppose I can see how he might engage a person.
And you talk about a love story. Now, is there a bit of a love triangle going on between the three of you this season? Can we talk about that? Can we get into it?
It's a complicated love triangle because it's not a conventional one. Certainly on a show like Bridgerton, you are not going to get catfights between women over men.
No.
Like that is just absolutely not the vibe. It's sisters before misters for sure. But what you get is three people that are interconnected with each other for totally different reasons, are drawn to each other in very different ways. And it's that entanglement between the three of them that sort of is the drama, I guess, of this season. And I think that although it's like a really crazy situation, each individual relationship is really relatable, I think. And you'd find it in your own life, probably.
Newton is an excellent judge of character. Oh, see?
You talk about what's not in this season, and one of the storylines or the narratives that's surrounding the season also is that it's toned down in regards to the sex this season. When and as viewers, and I talked to Shonda, and she says it does not matter. It's still, every season has their narrative, and so it's still very, very intense and passionate. But I'm wondering, when you read the script and you see that, and knowing what season 1 is, were you like, woo, thank goodness? Or, did you want it to be kind of like what season 1 was?
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
To say it right.
But also, you can keep your clothes on and still create the same amount of eroticism.
Exactly.
And I think that the yearning that these two characters have for each other and the need they have to overcome is such a human thing, and I think it's incredibly sexy. And also to play opposite Simone, we, had an amazing, from the get-go in our chemistry test, we were just like, we had each other's, such an amazing partnership, and to be able to play through looks.
Yeah, and reading and the things that are unspoken, the tension, leading up, they're like so gravitated towards each other bit by bit throughout the whole series. And there wasn't ever really a moment of like, for me anyway, thank goodness, or like, I wish it was more like this. I was just so happy with it. It felt so right how their story goes. And
it's complicated.
I wouldn't have wanted it any other way, and it's so complicated.
And high stakes, and the payoff when they finally get together, because we know that with romance, we know where it gets to. So how brilliant to play with the audience and take them on a different ride, knowing that there's going to be 6 other seasons and 6 other love stories. So, this is our version.
My honor is hanging by a thread that grows more precarious with every moment in your presence.
This is a question for all 3 of you. Since you mentioned The Bachelorette, Bridgerton has obviously impacted, it's a movement, right? Like it's not a moment, it's a whole movement, and it's impacted pop culture and entertainment and a new dating show. Have you guys seen this? Are we watching it? How crazy is it that the series that you're a part of now has a reality TV show attached to it?
Is this the courtship?
This is the courtship.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I mean, how does one even understand?
I haven't seen it, but I hope we get it in the UK soon.
Absolutely.
But I think the thing is that it's what was so good about series 1 is that it came at a time where everyone needed that love story, and the way that that rigid sort of set of courtship and gender roles in it is so sort of old-fashioned, and there's a real sort of rose-tinted level of measure that's put on it, but it's great, and love is love, and everyone wants to fall in love, so it makes sense, I think. But I'd love to see it.
And like you can kind of understand the success of a TV show, but it's like to have like a cultural zeitgeist on your hands is like another level. And the thing about Bridgerton is it's not only about the stories, but it's about the glamour and the aesthetics. Like there is so much to it that you can enjoy and appreciate, and that kind of otherworldliness, escapism is one aspect.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.